the Executive Director at Senior Action in Greenville, and I'm going to share a few of the things that we have done to reopen our center. It's been a really interesting journey, and there has been an enormous amount of planning and thought given to some of the things that we have implemented here. And most of that started several months before we reopened. We started by doing a survey of our members. And the interesting thing that many of you probably know is that most of our members are not on the normal ways that you communicate with people. We have a lot of people who don't use email. We have a lot of people who don't use Facebook. So we had a real challenge of how do we reach people. And so when we worked on our survey, we made sure that we did paper versions that we handed out in our drive-through meal program line. We also did Facebook, we also did email, and we also thankfully have a system where we can make phone calls to people. It's an automatic phone calling system. And so we called people also and told them about the survey. So we tried to get as many people to be aware of it ahead of time as possible. In that survey, we learned some things that were very important. We asked people, first of all, are they comfortable coming back? And interestingly, we got some great responses around that one question. But then we also asked them if they came back, what was the most important thing they wanted to experience when they came back? And so people told us about what they hoped to see when they walked into the building, like what kinds of, would they expect temperature checks? Would they expect to sign waivers and things like that? Most people said on their survey that they would do anything we asked them to do, just so long as they could come back. That was so important to people, and we heard that loud and clear. We also heard that exercise classes was the most high demand request, but we also had people who were really involved in music and the arts who wanted to come back as well. So we have started there. So we started with the programs people asked us for. We started very slowly, and we planned the programs and activities based on that. The other thing that we had to really think through and be thoughtful about is the size of our buildings. So, we have 8 different centers here in this area, and not all of them were conducive to put some of these procedures into place. So we had to be thoughtful about, which centers could we open and which ones should we keep closed a little longer. And so unfortunately, we've had to keep some still closed, and we're working toward trying to get those open as well. But I think that's really important to figure out how can you accommodate and make the building as safe as possible. Even here in this one building, there's huge sections of the building that we've had to stay closed just because the rooms are small, and you would only be able to get, maybe 1 or 2 people in the room. So there's really no point in doing all the cleaning and all the work that you would have to do to open those rooms up for people. So we've limited the space and then limited the rooms that people can access. But we also planned and planned and planned. We did walkthroughs. We tried schedules out, and we did all of that before we ever opened the doors because we wanted people to walk in to an organization that had thought through these things and had everything in place. And we also planned for the worst case scenario. We planned for hundreds and hundreds of people that would be banging down our door, and we're very pleased when the crowds were not that bad because they were much more manageable. But we've also planned for much bigger activities that we ended up seeing that, people must not have wanted that. And so we've had to make some changes. And so being nimble and flexible has been very, very important, so that we can say this class was very popular, let's add more of that class, or this class wasn't popular at all, so let's take that class away and replace it with something that's more important. So those are some of the things that we've learned and that we've tried, but I think it's just the cleaning that we have done. We've also learned some things about that. We talked to a lot of people. We spent time researching cleaning products and what cleaning products work best, and we the staff all chipped in and cleaned the whole building thoroughly before we ever opened the door. And we have a pretty extensive cleaning routine that we do between classes and at the end of every day. We also adjusted our hours because sometimes, we needed to allow the staff time to do all that work. So we did adjust our hours, so we're not open quite as many hours as we normally are. And so those are some things that we're also working with as we get our arms around this more and we get more comfortable with what we're doing. We can make some changes to that too in the future. So it was really important to us to create really good safety procedures when people check in. So here at our center, people come in, they check in, they have their temperature checked, they give their key fob to our staff member who checks them into the class that they're here for. People have to pre-register for classes, so that was one of the big changes we had to make, is that people had to pre-register, and so they call the day before, and then we let them know that they're in the class. And that way we can control who's in the building at any given time. environment that was very happy and uplifting to people. They've been in their homes so long, and this whole situation is just very hard and emotionally demanding for people. And so we wanted to make sure that this place was something that, even though we've got lots of rules, lots of procedures in place, that it was still going to be a place that was very happy. So we put a lot of effort and energy into making their welcome back be very happy. We created a music video, we created this bulletin board and some other things, but we also made sure that our signage was very positive, uplifting, and happy, because we felt like that was an important tone to set as people were coming back into this environment. We knew people would be uncomfortable, but we wanted to make them feel really good about coming back. Okay, so one of the things that we've implemented here is for our fitness center. We spread the equipment really far apart, but we wanted to create a way for people to say, we know how many people are in the center, but they have to make reservations. So when they come up, they pick up a number, take it into the center while they're exercising, and when they get finished, they return the number to the board. And that way we can control how many people are in the fitness center at one time. We have a limit of 10 because our fitness center is pretty small. And so that's the way that we can make sure everybody is getting to come and exercise when they want to, but at the same time that we don't have too many people in there together. Another thing that we spent a lot of time planning and preparing for was how are we going to clean and keep surfaces safe for people who are sharing equipment. And so some of the activities that we normally offer, we didn't offer because we didn't feel like we could do that safely. So when it comes to exercise equipment, we created a system where we clean the equipment regularly. We have clear signs for people to know what is clean and what needs to be disinfected. Our staff spend a lot of time cleaning this equipment every day and in between classes. So again, the signage helps people know what to do, but it also helps people feel comfortable knowing that we're doing a good job of keeping the equipment clean. Of the cleaning cart that we put together that we could take throughout the building. It has all the supplies that we need in our little buckets to go into each room where people are having activities, and we have everything organized here on this cart to make it really simple for folks to do that. So whether we have staff or whether we have volunteers that are helping, it's all right here on this cart together.